Police corruption in this country knows no bounds, and it isn't just happening in far off big cities somewhere. It's happening right here in rural Missouri towns. Now, last year, KSDK reported that Hazelwood School District in Missouri would not have the resources, or the school resource officers, on site at the start of their school year until the 3 police departments who contribute officers to the second largest school district in that county, with about 18,000 mostly black students, were able to figure it out, or whatever. The problem? Hazelwood School District board members wanted officers to undergo just 10 hours of additional training. Just 10 hours. The topics they wanted to ensure officers were trained on: understanding Hazelwood School District, statement of solidarity, trauma-informed practices in Hazelwood School District students, adultification of African-American children, since, again, 18,000 students, mostly black, probably an important thing, language sensitivity, and communication with diverse student populations. The role of the school resource officer in partnership with school safety officers and school hall monitors. So they can learn how to be part of a team with other members of the staff who are there to ensure the school functions in the halls. The district and school resource officer partnership to combat the school to prison pipeline, and basically how to not kill students or assault them or arrest them when they aren't committing crimes, and how to work in tandem with school staff, as I mentioned. Much of this, the district says, is the same training that their own staff receives year-round. So what's the big deal, right? If that kind of thing sounds reasonable to you, then great, because apparently it also sounded pretty reasonable to the local departments, who at least claim that their officers are already covering a lot of those activities. Actually, that's the excuse, is that they already cover a lot of those activities in the training that the officers already receive. Therefore, they couldn't possibly take the extra 10 hours to go over again, right? Florissant Police Chief Tim Fagan wrote in an email to KSDK. Again, this is from last year, okay, folks? The Florissant Police Department values our long-standing partnership with the Hazelwood School District, and we look forward to continued discussions about returning our school resource officer to the school. St. Louis County spokesperson said, "Our officers will continue to receive specific and develop training in these critical areas that is Missouri Post approved. Unfortunately, Hazelwood District's required training does not meet the criteria. We recognize the value of the school resource program and hope to maintain a positive and productive relationship with the school district." Right. I guess you can have too much training. According to a letter that was sent to the school district, that was signed by recently retired St. Louis County Police Chief Mary Barton, again, Florissant Police Chief Tim Fagan, and Hazelwood Police Chief Greg Hall, the police chief of the local department there in Hazelwood, signed this letter to the school district after a careful review and discussion regarding the request to add contract language that requires our school resource officers to participate in a minimum of 10 hours per contract year of professional development on diversity, equity, and inclusion provided by the school district. We believe our officers receive training that is more than adequate to address the critical matters of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So the training they already have is more than adequate. They couldn't possibly be bothered with an additional 10 hours, right? So because these police chiefs refuse to accept that additional training in fields they claim they've already covered, and for the sake of, fuck it, it's political posturing against wokeness, these 3 so-called leaders allowed the Hazelwood School District to begin their school year without any resource officers to serve and protect the student body. I don't know, against maybe something like a mass shooting. We sure as shit have seen a lot of those lately. And we've seen a lot of police officers prove themselves completely fucking useless when push comes to shove in that sort of situation. But speaking of the lowest common denominator, I'm not here to talk about school shootings and a lack of police officers and training in the schools. We're actually just here to talk about crooked cops in general. Now, what has our special friend, Hazelwood Police Chief Greg Hall, been up to lately?
How you doing tonight, sir? Do you have your driver license and insurance? Where you come from tonight?
I'm actually from the halls, the Night Castles,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I'm a police officer.
Where you work at?
Hazelwood.
Hazelwood?
Huh.
Okay. How long you been out in Hazelwood?
Since 1979.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually the police chief.
You're a police chief? Hazelwood? Deep breath in, and then just blow hard
Right.
until I tell you to stop. Sorry to get you over here, but
anytime.
you made the big bucks, so Chief Hazelwood, he is hammered drunk right now.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. He's over at 2. Yeah. He is hammered. He was dodging sniper fire out there, weaving all over the place.
Is it all on the dash cam?
Yeah.
The driving and all the contacts so far?
Yeah.
He's the current chief.
Yeah. Says he's like 6 to 9 months or something away from retirement. And he's
Yeah, this is a tough day and age, man, you know.
Here come the alligator tears.
When you have they insist on all these electronic things and technology. I'd handle it like you handle anything else.
Alright.
It's your call.
You know, technology, like that thing that keeps you from just letting them go, right? It kind of makes you wonder if before dash cams and body cams and civilians armed with cell phones, I mean, it doesn't make you wonder when you hear shit like this from the police officers themselves. My God, what they were up to before the evidence was readily available for everyone, which is part of why we're discussing this shit today.
You realize the position you're putting us in, right?
I understand. I'm not doing anything. I'm sorry.
Well, right foot in front of your left foot. Hang on 1 second for me, Chief. I'm just gonna have you stand like this, or if you're not able to, just stand like that. Let me.
Nathan, if I take him home, or are you gonna have any issues?
Not at all. Not at all, Chief. I'm sorry to get you out here. I just
No, that's
want to make
okay.
sure.
That's okay, because you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I
Nope.
will take him home. I have known him for a lot.
If you don't mind, I will take him home. You know, if you don't mind not putting him in handcuffs and charging him for DUI. Obviously, he's failed the field sobriety tests. He's failed the breathalyzer. He's admitted to what he's out there doing. You know, if you don't mind, we'll just take him home instead of, you know, doing our jobs and whatnot. More to come.
Out of here.
Yeah, no, understandable, and again, sorry to wake you up, Chief.
Nope, that's okay. He and I are gonna have a long talk on the way home.
Oh, so they're gonna have a long talk on the way home. Just disgusting, and it gets weirder than that, folks. So some of the local news outlets, you know, they published what they wanted to publish with it, but didn't give too many details. But I want to jump in on this STL Today article here. And this was published. I believe that was. They were all basically published on the 14th here. From the body cam footage, which I don't think that was mentioned in some of the other local publications, was from May 28th, 2022. So not less than a month ago. Well, no, I guess slightly over a month. I missed a couple of weeks there. So, but yeah, OFallon, Hazelwood Police Chief Greg Hall failed multiple sobriety tests. Multiple sobriety tests. Can you hear me now? During a recent traffic stop, and was called hammered drunk by the officer who pulled him over. Hall appeared to struggle reciting the alphabet, and an officer said that Hall's blood alcohol content was more than 2.5 times the legal limit, according to body cam footage obtained by the Post-Dispatch through an open records request. News of Hall's traffic stop was a run up the OFallon police chain of command, eventually reaching Chief John Neska. Neska arrived at the traffic stop, spoke privately with one of the officers, and gave Hall a hug. Oh, tender loving care. Gotta love it. He and I are going to have a long talk on the way home, as we saw in the video. And then, assuming they later went home, Leslie Knight, a spokeswoman for the St. Charles County Prosecutor's Office, said Hall, who made $118,000 last year, had not been charged as of Wednesday afternoon. And Wednesday afternoon, that's as of, last Wednesday. It's this Monday, so last Wednesday afternoon, no charges. Neska, who made $125,000 last year, retired as OFallon police chief a few days after Hall's stop. Neither he nor the OFallon Police Department returned calls requesting comment. Hall, when reached by phone, said on Wednesday, said he had been advised not to comment on the matter, or referred to the Post-Dispatch to Travis Noble Jr., a DWI lawyer based in Clayton. Noble disputed the accuracy of the field sobriety tests and questioned the officer's evaluation of Hall. Right. But here's the thing, folks. Even if the FSTs that they performed on the chief weren't accurate, why in the hell were they not able to bring him in downtown for a ride to where they could use equipment that's a little bit more suited for a more accurate reading? Well, that answer is simply because the OFallon police chief showed up and performed some extra legal privileges of his own here. And this is why defund the police is sounding more and more reasonable. I mean, we can't stop them from killing us. We can't stop them from raping us. We can't stop them from planting evidence. We can't stop them from shooting and beating up our kids. So why would we not expect them to let each other get away with crimes like this, caught on camera? Especially when, as was mentioned, they're speaking in support of that. But of course, this day and age with all this new equipment, body cams, dash cams, and what, it makes things a little harder. It makes it a little more difficult. What was the quote there? Yeah, this is a tough day and age, man. When you have, they insist on these electronic things and technology. I want you to handle it just like you'd handle any other call or any other stop. If you've ever given someone a break, you're welcome to do that, but I'm not going to interfere with the process. I don't care who they are unless their last name is, what, it don't even matter. Clearly it matters to that sergeant, and yeah, he should definitely be getting investigated. Both of those police chiefs should be investigated. I mean, I think any reasonable prosecutor would find reason to charge both of these police chiefs. Certainly they both need to be jobless and lose their pensions. I mean, in this situation, I don't know who's the bigger piece of shit. The Hazelwood police chief, Greg Hall, for putting families at risk and doing something that he absolutely should know better than to be out there doing. Literally putting people's lives in danger because he's a raging alcoholic and a douchebag at that. Or the sober OFallon police chief, or former police chief, John Neska, for letting him get away with it and aiding and abetting that fucking criminal. I mean, the people of Hazelwood and OFallon, Missouri deserve better than these corrupt pieces of trash giving orders and making decisions on behalf of their law enforcement departments. It's just sickening. Let me know what you think in the comments of this story or stories like this. My God.